So, what do you think? Do you think that this is something that they'll keep up long term, or no?
The thing that my question is just how do they get their money back? Like, yeah, I get it that the stream, but because the thing is though, that I'm pretty sure they're looking at it as like, hey, yeah, the streaming service is bringing us this money, but if we weren't releasing this in streaming service, people would still be going to theaters to go watch it, right? And so it's just kind of one of those things like they're gonna be like, man, because the end goal for every single production company is to try to beat Endgame and become the richest, the highest grossing film of all time, which now that might just never happen now if this is the way this goes.
Something tells me that part of the decision making behind doing the entire 2021 slate as a tandem release has to do with the political landscape. I think they feel like if a Democrat is in office, they're more likely to, clamp down on COVID restrictions and stuff, make it harder to have full theaters because of the rise in cases, and so they didn't want to lose out on potential earnings by trying to do it. Let's put it in theaters alone and force people to go there. And then people are just like, nah, I'll wait for Blu-ray. And then they've lost out on a lot of money. So they're like, how about we make people pay for subscriptions instead and give them that option?
And then not only that, but you don't own it. So if you ever cancel your subscription, you have to go buy this movie in order to be able to watch it again.
Yeah.
Or get the subscription again, right? So to answer your question, I don't think it'll be long-term like future. I think it'll just depend on the movie. So I think what it'll be is like, if it's one of those movies is like, hey, this movie, if we had released it in theater pre-corona, it might have grossed $300 million. Not enough for me to want to release it in theaters. So we'll just release it through the streaming service exclusively. Other ones like Wonder Woman 1984, they're releasing it in theaters for a reason.
Yeah.
The reason they're releasing it both in theaters and in HBO Max is because they're like, we want to get the people who definitely want to go see this movie in theaters, but we also want to get the people that, hey, they would love to see this movie, but they're not gonna risk it.
That's a movie that could approach $1 billion.
Yeah, exactly. It would have hit $1 billion, and if it had been released. Now they're gonna look at it as like, if I can still get at least like a good 700 million out of it and not get the $1 billion, they'll be like, all right, now I know that moving forward, these are the kind of movies that I can release.
But then it still could?
Huh?
You think it still could hit 700? Yeah, this is a tough time for the movie industry.
I think it'll get I think they'll be lucky if they hit 100 million.
No, like in theaters? No, come on. Wonder Woman?
They'll be lucky if they get that.
I'm gonna say 250. Come on, dude. 100. It's Wonder Woman, dude.
I get that, but okay, you might be right. Okay, yeah. You know what? No, you know what? And reverse it, like Missy Elliott. I'm gonna go ahead and reverse that one because I'm looking at Tenet. Tenet is kind of like the marquee movie that we should look at, right? Like, because that's the main.
That's a big movie that came out.
That got royally effed through the corona, because it's a $200 million budget movie, but it's managed to gross 257 million. So it's not a bomb. Right? And even if they had not made 200 million and made its budget, I think you still couldn't really call it a bomb because there's an asterisk behind that now, right?
Yeah.
So since they made 357, but how long have they been in theaters? I think they're the only movie that's been in theaters for like.
They're the only big movie that made it into theaters, and they're just there, just sitting there.
Exactly. So it's just slowly trickling into the money. So that made 200 million. But the thing is, though, they don't have a movie. They don't have this movie already on streaming services when it was released. So that's going to be the problem. It's going to be like one of those balances where they have to be like, man, how much of this is going to affect? How much is the streaming service going to affect? Versus, let me ask you a question. I'm not going to go see it in theaters. Wonder Woman 1984. Not because I don't want to. Even though I really haven't 100% sat down and saw Wonder Woman.
You misogynist. So go on.
No, I just every single time that I watch, like my wife loves it for
Mhm.
obvious reasons. You know, she's not misogynist. She loves women. So you know, she loves being a woman, and I'm like, you know, look, you know, she loves being a woman, not loves women. So you know, and it's like, and I like putting it. I liked it when she put it on because my daughter would watch it and kind of be amazed, you know. So it's like, you know, I like that. It's just for some reason I'm not a DC fan. I'm not. It's a tragedy that Black Widow isn't out, you know. So that one I definitely would have watched. That, but I still wouldn't have gone to go see it in theaters.
Black Widow or Wonder Woman?
Post Corona, I wouldn't have gone to see either of these movies in theaters because I'm not down for that risk.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But you, I'm assuming for at least Black Widow, you are, right?
Yes.
No. Even if they were streaming it in Disney Plus. Or is that one of those like you're like, oh man, this girl wants to go see it, so we'll go see it.
Oh yeah, no. If it's a date situation, yeah, I'll go see it. You know, I'll put on a mask or whatever. If it's just me, I think I can watch it on Disney Plus. I think I have a good enough setup here that I feel okay watching it on Disney Plus. But yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, I can put on a mask and other stuff and get out there because actually even like the last month or so I've been going out a little more and more, you know, masking up, of course. I had my first work lunch a couple of weeks ago. It went over to Alpharetta and all that stuff. It was, and you know, it was so refreshing to be out there with people, you know, in my age range and older, you know, that we're all professionals talking about work and stuff. It seems so mundane, right? But
yeah,
I missed it. You know, so yeah, I wouldn't mind going to.
I get it. I haven't seen. So I was working from home pre-corona. So I only go into the office like maybe once every like month or two.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
Yeah, but prior to Corona hitting, I hadn't been in the office since that December. So it's been a year, almost a year since I've been into the office. And I mean, like, there's some coworkers that, you know, I'm just like, man, like when I get to see them, I'll be happy to see them and get to talk to them and stuff like that. So yeah, I get what you're saying, man. Yeah. So going back to the question that you were saying about, do I think this will be permanent? I only think it'll be permanent up until that vaccine is introduced and starts to take effect. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of this, man, once that vaccine hits, once things get back a little bit to normal, things are going to start coming back. People, you know, stadiums are going to start getting filled up. Theaters are going to start getting filled up. Bars are going to start getting filled up again. Just people are going to go back to their normal lives the way it was, because that's just how this country's gonna work.
I have a question for you, and sure. I guess it's not just what do you think about the country as a whole, but also from a personal standpoint. When this vaccine is released, do you think most Americans are going to be eager to be in the first wave of people that are vaccinated, or do you think they'll more likely want to wait for it? And then what about you specifically? Would you want to be in the first wave, or would you wait?
My wife being in the medical field, I would basically follow her lead. Only reason being is because if she trusts it enough to take it, then I'll go ahead and take it. I think that more people will take it. Maybe not the first wave, because honestly, you know who the first wave usually is? The military.
Okay.
So the military will most likely have it first. And then after that first wave, when they start saying, you know, then they'll start coming out with studies saying, hey, you know, the military, COVID has gone down tremendously in the military. Then people will start taking it's like the polio vaccine. It's going to come out, right? And people are going to be taking it because it'll be enough for people to know that, hey, it's safe. Mm-hmm. I think more people will take it now than they would have if Donald Trump had won. Because now you're not going to have a president on television basically speaking against it.
No, I think Donald Trump would have spoken like in favor of it, and you know, saying like, "Look, I delivered a vaccine."
Only reason I say that is because Donald Trump did. I don't know if you've noticed, but he always took his cue. He always takes his cues from the loudest minorities in his own in his political group. So look, I don't know if you think that all Republicans are the way Donald Trump exposes himself to be. I don't think they all are. I think a lot of them are decent people.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, it's kind of like anti climate change, like
climate deniers. Yeah,
the 1%, they're just the loudest, and for some reason they get extra footing as the other 99%.
Exactly. Yes, the loudest voices are usually the most idiotic. Sorry to say, but
and what ends up happening there, which is unfortunate, is you have people who are very high. I have friends. I know you do. I have friends who are highly intelligent who are just saying some shit, and I'm just like, why do you really believe the whole entire country decided that they're going to go against this one man, but yet let Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham go get reelected? Like, you really think that Donald Trump is the biggest enemy that people are, you know what I mean? So
here's what I will say about right, because this is still in the entertainment section, right? Because we're talking about people being able to go out and watch movies and all that stuff. Here's what I will say about the whole Donald Trump thing, and why I don't necessarily believe that if he had won, he would be speaking out against the virus. I think he did a lot of what he did because he's the kind of guy who believes that, this can be beneficial for me, whether it's politically or whatever. And, these people, who vote Republican are saying all these things. Let me get on the good side and say these things as well. What he did.
So you're thinking that he'll look at the benefit of the virus the benefit of the vaccine causing the virus to go down, and then that'll boost the economy. That'll boost him.
So boosting the economy is one thing, but also the fact that he's not actually having to run for anything again would be another thing. The fact that he doesn't actually have to now placate, those fools on the far right. Like, now he's like, I'm my own man. I actually think that would have been a more dangerous Donald Trump, to be honest. But luckily that didn't happen. Not
yet.
Yeah, December 19th.
In 4 years.
Oh God. So yeah. I think it would be somewhat of a longer term strategy, but I think it would be like a premium service type of thing. Like, to watch this movie that's out in theaters now, you have to pay this premium. I don't think.
So you think that if all of a sudden vaccine comes in, people start going out more, they're gonna just change the product into kind of like the Disney Plus premium thing, where they'll be like, hey, you can watch. We're gonna release it in theaters, but moving forward, you got to pay an additional $12.99 to watch it.
Exactly. Yes. The pricing model will turn to the premium model when people can actually go to theaters.
I think what will happen there, if they try to do that, the American people can actually change that and be like, we're just not going to get it, and we're not going to go see it in theaters.
True.
Because a lot of people will be like, yo, you can't give this to me for free 1 minute and then all of a sudden change it up. So I think that might cause I think the movie industry period is just on a slippery slope right now. That they're just like, yo, we got to figure this things out, because because I'm pretty sure the problem with them now is like them holding on to all these movies is them losing money.
Yeah. And you can't saturate the market with like blockbuster movies, right? Like, these are movies that would have been released over the span of like 2 years between 2020 and 2021 that you're now all compressing in 2021. People will be like, look, I love movies, but I'm gonna pick one. I'm not gonna go watch all of them. When
is Dune coming out? Did they tell you?
They didn't specify. No, they didn't specify.
So I wonder if like every month or every 2 weeks they're gonna try to release one.
They could, right? Keep you subscribed. Yeah, they could do that.
I might do that.
Yeah.
I think I might.
I think I will too.
No, HBO Max. If you want us to subscribe, shoot us some money.
Actually, we're not subscribing until you shoot us that money. All right. So that's that section. We were going to talk about politics next. Is that correct?
Yeah. So speaking of movies, Trump won't let it go. Let it go. He just continues to hold on to the. Hey man, you love my voice.
Can I just say, it wouldn't be as easy talk episode if Zeus didn't bust out into song at least once. So welcome back.
Sometimes you have to, y'all better be happy I don't come out with the spirit fingers. So
You just did.
You know what I am looking forward to? I hope that that at the end of the year, well, one thing that we should have mentioned that, thankful for this, one thing that I will say that didn't cause this pandemic, that if it wasn't for this pandemic, this wouldn't have happened. And it's a good thing that it happened. CZ Talk probably would have never happened.
Yeah.
Because we were both, because one of the things that caused us to get this podcast is because we were both bored as shit at home. So so